On BBC World News, a lively roundup of your comments on our programmes and a brief snapshot of what's coming up. Weekend World with Paddy O'Connell.
Hello, welcome to Weekend World. I'm Paddy O'Connell. This is the programme where you keep us on track, telling us what you think of what you've seen on the channel, and we give you the inside track on what's coming up around the world this weekend. Your views on our expose of the scandal of modern-day slavery.
Human trafficking has just become the second biggest generator of cash for criminal activity in the world.
Michael Peshart meets a businessman who's going up in the world.
I'm holding on. I'm not quite sure why I am, but I am.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's all right. Absolutely fine.
And what Brazilian men give as a token of love to their sweethearts.
You know what? I can't see Mrs. P being too impressed if I turned up with a box of these.
So let's start with the Working Lives investigation into the traffic of human beings, which is happening in many different parts of the world. This week, the team is in Kenya, gathering evidence of the exploitation of children.
After darkness falls, the flesh market, like the tourists, moves from the beaches to the clubs. This is the part that travel brochures don't show you. Child brothels are common all along this coast, and they're tolerated by the authorities. They're often run by women called aunties. Agnes is one of them.
Amkuja kama mteja kutaka msichana. Pata wasichana na atapata msichana, atasema ni pesa ngapi anazo na ataenda utamalizana mlipe. Wengine wanaweza kubangaiza kiona 12 years, 13, 14.
Now that's our upcoming programme from Kenya, but last week the team were in Mexico and we asked for your reaction to that programme. Here's a reminder of what we saw.
Up ahead somewhere is a better life. But for thousands of Mexican and other Latin American migrants, the destination will not be prosperity, but misery, death, or slavery. Beyond this frontier, the United States, land of opportunity. On this side, Mexico, where $4 a day is a living wage, if you have a job.
Well, you won't be surprised that this stirred strong reaction. Many viewers got in touch. Thank you for doing so. Here's a taste of what we've heard. Maria Jessen, who's lived in Mexico for 30 years, said she found the programme sobering from beginning to end. But Stephen Gomez from Saudi Arabia said the programme should have taken a different tack. It would have been much stronger to cover the journey of an actual runner, of which more in just a moment. To India now, and Mahali Amal Sadvala, who sent us this video message.
The program was thought-provoking and well presented. I must say, some viewers who do not reside in that part of the country may like it as it brings vivid facts of life of those concerned, while others on the spot may feel disappointed as the activity is exposed and may not approve of such programs to be relayed. Well, every story has both the sides to be reckoned with, and that is a reality. Thank you.
Mahali, thank you for your trouble and time with that video message. Let's head to Portugal, where more reaction came from Pedro Gonçalves. The state and the federal governments should apply properly legal tools at their disposal against US companies using illegal labour. But Malika Malhotra from India had doubts on that front. Are our current laws inadequate to effectively deal with trafficking and unsafe migration as it exists today? And welcome Faridoun Hemani from the Working Lives team. Thank you for coming. For the Mexico programme, there's clearly a fine line between migration, albeit people in desperate circumstances, and the trafficking of humans. And what is that line?
Well, once somebody decides it's really impossible to live in a country, economic conditions, they decide to migrate. They cannot do it legally, they've got to do it illegally. For that, they pay somebody, that's illegal migration. In this particular case, and in cases around the world, if they do this illegally, somebody else comes over and says, you are now ours, they're kidnapped. At that point, they've lost the choice. In Mexico, they get a phone given to them and say, now call your family and I want $800. If you don't provide, you can leave.
You will be lost.
you'll be lost for sure.
Now that's the point at which trafficking becomes very much a matter of kidnap and so on. But what did you discover in Kenya?
There was a lot of trafficking of different types, not cross-border. There was children for sexual exploitation, particularly, and Kenya was a hub for trafficking because people coming from all over East Africa. So it's a source country, it's a destination country, and it's a transit country.
In that respect, it's trafficking within borders, not across borders.
Correct.
Now, our viewers who are watching have reacted as strongly as it's possible to imagine, including someone saying it would be good to have followed one person all the way through across the borders in Mexico. Was that possible for you?
It is possible, but it is very difficult and expensive to do, and time. I think if you need to follow somebody, it could take months. It is a really good way to do it, but somebody's got to be able to commit several months and a lot of money to do it.
I mean, how did the people involved in the trade escape justice?
Wherever we filmed in Kenya, in India, in Mexico, in Egypt, it all boils down to corruption and very powerful forces. There are businessmen, there are politicians, there are law enforcers. They are either corrupt or unable, and that's why.
It's clear from watching the series that there are many vultures preying on people in desperate circumstances, but equally there are people trying to help. There are modern-day saints trying to break that chain.
There are indeed, and on the ground, when you find people who have got no backup, nothing, very, very small local NGOs, they are doing an incredible job night after night, going out and trying to save these people or help them or do whatever little they can. And business, with its big money and all that, should be able to do a lot more than what they're doing now.
Thank you, Faridoun. Now, if you're in Mombasa, you can see that programme at 11:30 on Saturday morning. Thank you as well for all your observations on this shocking trade. If you want to keep in touch with us on all the programmes you see on the channel, here are two important addresses. Our own, weekend.world@bbc.com. You can become more involved. Give your life to the channel at Global Minds, and there's the address on there, and more from the people at Global Minds in coming weeks. Now, there's another thoughtful investigation from the Our World series this weekend, and it looks at the battle for hearts and minds between the Pakistani authorities and the Taliban, including in places like Swat. Now, as our reporter Owen Bennett-Jones discovered, this is a life and death struggle which extends even into the world of the school play.
Swati children portray the Taliban takeover and the army's response. It's a year now since the military retook Swat from the militants. A victory shown here as hard fought, welcome and complete. And the audience seem to agree.